The alien queen sleeps in the same room as the human soldier, and now she wants it to continue the detention cell aboard the Zephyrian flagship. Eternal Dominion had been designed to hold the most dangerous prisoners in the galaxy. Its walls were forged from crystallized void metal, impervious to energy weapons, and reinforced with psionic dampeners. Yet tonight, it held only two occupants, Captain Marcus Chin of the Terran Defense Force and Queen Vithar of the Zephyrian Empire. Marcus sat against the far wall, his military fatigues torn and bloody from the battle that had led to his capture. 3 days ago, he had been leading a desperate evacuation from Colony Epsilon 7. 3 days ago, the Zephyrians had been an unstoppable force sweeping across human space, their crystalline ships turning entire worlds to glass. Now, he found himself in prison alongside the very architect of humanity's suffering, Queen. Vithara stood nearly 8 feet tall, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming with an opalescent sheen that shifted from deep purple to silver in the cells. Harsh lighting. 4 arms emerged from her torso, each ending in delicate, articulated hands that could tear through steel or perform the most intricate surgical procedures. Her head was elongated, crowned with a series of bony ridges that marked her royal lineage, and her large compound eyes reflected the room's every photon with unsettling intensity. "You should rest, human," she said, her voice a harmonic blend of clicks and musical tones translated by the cell's neural interface. "Tomorrow brings interrogation." Marcus laughed bitterly. "Rest? Next to the butcher of New Shanghai? I'd rather stay awake." The Queen's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Butcher, your species assigns such crude labels. I am a surgeon, removing the infected tissue of rebellion from this galaxy. Tell that to the billion civilians you vaporize." 4. The first time since his capture, Marcus saw something flicker across the alien monarch's features. Not regret Zephyrians were incapable of that human emotion, but perhaps consideration. "Your people fought with surprising tenacity," she admitted, settling onto the floor with surprising grace for such a large creature. "Most species surrender after losing their first 3 worlds. Humans continued fighting even when defeat was mathematically certain. We're stubborn that way." Hours passed in uncomfortable silence. The ship's artificial day-night cycle dimmed the lights, casting long shadows across the cell. Marcus found his eyelids growing heavy despite his determination to remain vigilant. Military training had taught him to sleep anywhere, anytime, but sleeping near a Zephyrian queen felt like bedding down next to a nuclear reactor. When he finally succumbed to exhaustion, his dreams were filled with fire and screaming metal. He woke several times, each instance finding the queen motionless in her meditative trance. Zephyrians didn't sleep as humans understood it. They entered a state of heightened awareness where their conscious and subconscious minds merged. On the second night, something changed. Marcus jerked awake to find Vithar curled near the center of the cell, her massive form shaking almost imperceptibly. Her exoskeleton had lost its lustrous sheen, appearing dull and brittle. Strange, whimpering sounds emerged from her throat sounds that the translator couldn't parse. "What's wrong with you?" Marcus asked, surprising himself with the concern. In his voice, the Queen's compound eyes fixed on him. "Isolation sickness, my species. We are not meant to be alone. Even in prison, a queen should have her court, her drones, her connection to the collective consciousness." Marcus understood. The Zephyrian hive mind was legendary. Individual Zephyrians were formidable, but they drew strength and stability from their mental connections to others of their kind. Cut off from that network, even a queen could suffer psychological breakdown. How long can you last? Perhaps another day. Then madness claims me, and I become little more than a raving beast. That night, Marcus made a decision that would have court-martialed him if any human authority still existed to do so. Instead of retreating to his corner, he remained near the center of the cell, not touching the alien queen that would have been suicide, but close enough that she could sense his presence. "What are you doing, human?" "Marcus, my name is Marcus Chun." Why do you remain close, Marcus Chun? He thought about it for a long moment. Because you're suffering. And because I've seen what happens when Zephyrian queens go insane. You're entire. Fleet becomes unpredictable. More humans die. But even as he spoke, Marcus knew that wasn't the complete truth. There was something else, something he couldn't quite articulate. Perhaps it was the warrior's respect for a worthy opponent. Perhaps it was simple compassion for a being in pain. Regardless of species. The third night, Vithara's condition had worsened. Her exoskeleton had developed hairline cracks, and her movements had become erratic. When Marcus positioned himself nearby, she turned her great head toward him. Your proximity, it helps. The electromagnetic field generated by your neural activity provides a pale echo of what I have lost. Happy to help, Marcus said dryly. You mock me. Actually, I don't think I am. They lay in the darkness, human and alien, predator and prey. Separated by evolution and ideology, but united in their shared isolation. Marcus found himself talking about his childhood on Earth, about the blue sky and green oceans that the Queen would never see. In return, Vithara spoke of the crystalline gardens of her homeworld, where living crystal trees sang in harmonious frequencies that could drive listeners to transcendent ecstasy. When morning came, Vithara's condition had stabilized. Her exoskeleton had regained some of its luster, and her movements were more controlled. I owe you a debt, Marcus Chun. Just don't glass any more human worlds. We're even. But something fundamental had shifted between them. That evening, before the lights dimmed, Vithara moved closer to Marcus's position. Will you remain near again tonight? Marcus looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not the monster from human propaganda broadcasts, but a being capable of suffering, gratitude, and perhaps even loneliness. Yeah, he said. I'll stay close. As the artificial night descended, both prisoners settled into an uneasy but comfortable routine. Tomorrow would bring interrogation, possibly execution, certainly more war between their species. But tonight, in the vast emptiness of space, a human soldier and an alien queen found solace in each other's presence. Neither spoke of it, but both understood that something unprecedented had occurred. In a universe defined by conflict and conquest, two enemies had discovered the radical concept of mutual aid. It was, perhaps, the first step towards something that neither species had ever truly achieved. Peace. Marcus closed his eyes and listened to the rhythmic harmonics of Vithara's breathing. Tomorrow, they will return to being captor and prisoner, alien and human, queen and soldier. But tonight, they were simply two conscious beings, sharing warmth and companionship in the cold depths of space. And in that sharing, the seeds of a larger transformation began to take root.